Hey everybody, welcome to episode number, I don't know, of Hunkered Down with Seth. Today we have a bit of a reunion. A very good friend of mine, somebody I was in a comedy duo with, somebody who has done a lot of stand-up comedy in Chicago, LA, Seattle, uh, Bismarck. Ever been to Bismarck? Any, anyway,
No.
no. Anyway, a good friend of mine, somebody who I consider my the yin to my comedy yin's brother Mike, Fay Canale. Fay, thank you for being on with Hunker Down with Seth. Always great to talk to you. What's up?
Seth, always good to talk to you. I've missed you so much. I feel like we've been texting and talking through the years, but I don't think we've been in the same room together in, God, 5 years, if not longer.
Yeah, the last room we were in together was that bar up in Bothell. Um, what was it?
Oh, was that the
The
Cozy Inn
Cozy Inn.
Tavern?
Yes, the
No.
uh, I love that place. That was like the funnest dive around Seattle at that time period. So, anyways, what I'm
Oh, it's the Divius.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do just to start out is play a quick game. It's called What. I have ask you three questions that I'll start with the word what, and you have to answer them honestly or not. Nobody's twisting your arm. So, what question?
Sounds great.
The first what? What is on your perfect salad?
Perfect salad would be um, eggs, bacon, garbanzo beans, fresh mozzarella, and Italian dressing.
Croutons?
I'm watching my figure, so no croutons.
Oh, okay. Onions?
I hate onions.
All right.
Hate.
Like wow, you know, like hate as in 1939, put a star on it and get it out of my neighborhood hate.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Perfect.
Like a real. I don't think they should be even in society.
Ah, yeah. Don't move to my neighborhood, onions. Um, all right, and what type of lettuce?
Get out of. Get off my. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like romaine, but a good maybe romaine and lettuce mix.
What? A romaine and lettuce? Wait. Uh, you make
Yeah,
no
a little
sense.
mixture.
Yeah. So like spinach, romaine, a little bit of all right. This is absolutely great content. Uh, and I mean that earnestly. This is the greatest content. What was your first job?
My first job was bagging groceries at Larry's Market in Seattle on 100th and Aurora.
100th in Aurora. All right. I'm picturing the
If you
intersection.
needed the address, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think.
a
Now that
Burger Master. There's a drive-in.
yeah, and prostitutes. So
Oh, always, even up till this day. Seth, what was your first job?
I delivered pizza for Leonardo's in Wisconsin, and
Oh, really? That's so fun.
it is. I actually made a lot of money. Like my secret was, first of all, when I was in high school, all that money was profit, not going towards rent. So I would put away
Mm-hmm.
all the 20s I made, and I would spend the tens, fives, and ones. So by senior year of high school, I had like 6 grand saved up, and paid out of pocket my first.
Wow.
I had paid out of pocket my first couple years of college. Then I dropped out. I also paid out of pocket a trip to Europe, and along with my bar mitzvah money, I moved to Seattle with that money.
fun. Hey, I had a question about bar mitzvah money. Have you watched that new TV show, Dave, with Little Dicky?
I have not watched
Have you
that
heard
new.
of it?
I have not heard or watched that new TV
Okay.
show Dave
He's
starring Little
Jewish.
Diggy.
Okay.
All right.
He's Jewish in it, and he spends his bar mitzvah money, and he had a number that was like $10,000, and I was just thinking, is that really how much you get at a bar mitzvah?
Yeah, I. Well, it depends. I got about 8,000, give or take. But
Wow, wow.
but what I did was my parents only allowed me to spend 300, and I think I bought like a PlayStation or an Xbox, and
Mm,
and they put the rest away. So I had like savings bonds and stuff like that.
hmm
So yeah, I
Oh, so it is for a future thing. Oh, that's so nice that that you guys do that.
oh absolutely. You think about having a bat mitzvah to make a little cash out there in Tennessee.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Oh,
I a bat mitzvah's for a lady, right?
it's for a robot. So
Give me some money for savings.
well, you gotta have a like a Jewish accent. Give me give me some
Oh,
money
give
for
give me
save.
some.
Yeah, no, Jewish robot. It calls other robots to work for it. So all right. So last what question? Um, what was your first pet?
It was a cat.
Okay. Was it a good cat
I honestly don't really remember. I think I was probably maybe 6 or 7.
or
And the only
28?
thing I remember really about this cat, and I don't even remember what color him or her was, is that I remember I thought that he talked to me one time, saying like "hello," and I remember that just being a thing. I thought that cats could talk, just that they said hello. But you know how meows sound different. You know, they sound
Yeah,
like phrases sometimes.
definitely. Have you seen the movie Cats?
I haven't. It looks not good.
Oh, it is not good. So,
Did you watch it?
and I was yes, and I was really disappointed because there was a lack of cat buttholes. I mean, it's the only reason to watch that, and it didn't happen.
That's a shame. No
Yeah.
cat buttholes. So precious.
Plus, I'm allergic.
Buttholes.
So, all right.
So cute.
Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, nothing's really been in the news lately, so I
No,
guess we just have to.
talk about hand lotions.
Well, I did. I've been writing jokes, off and on, as I think comedians always do. But the last thing I sort of thought about was that, when people tell you a story about something bad that's happened to someone or themselves, I always think to myself, oh my God, I'm so glad that didn't happen to me. You know.
Yeah.
Um, but I think with what's going on right now, everybody's in the same boat. I find that so distressing and depressing. Are you worried?
Am I worried?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I got two parents who are older than me, and I also got some nieces and nephews who happen to be younger than me, and I also got a meatloaf in the freezer that you know, I'm really worried. It's like will it get like frostbitten or what's it called when the food?
Yeah, frostbite. Will we get frostbite? Yeah,
No, no, but
you're
the
saying that
freezer
correctly.
burn. You know, so I really,
Freezer burn.
yeah, so I really want to make this meatloaf, but it's like I just had a salad for lunch. Thus the question, what salad? What's your perfect
Mm-hmm.
salad? And it's like, I'm really
Oh,
worried about that meatloaf. You can only worry about what you can control because I know everything out there is going nuts, and the president is making no sense, and he's contradicting health people, and there's quarantines and self isolations, and us basically California is handing out tickets to people who are doing stuff that's not essential. So,
yeah.
but
I mean,
yeah,
I just Yeah, you're right, Seth. You can only worry about what you can worry about. That meatloaf though, I think when you keep meatloaf in the freezer, it can last a long time. I think meat lasts for a good, like month. I'm just talking. I don't really know
yeah,
how long meatloaf can last, but I think you have some time.
yeah, and it's one of those Swanson meatloaves. Yeah,
Oh, you didn't make it yourself?
no,
Judgment.
yeah, I don't make meatloaf. Come on, making food that's a job for not Seth. If
Yeah.
if God wanted me to
For
make
not me.
food, then why would He invent a burrito shop?
Burritos.
Yeah. Where was the best burrito you ever had?
Have,
Hard hitting question.
best burrito I ever had. Mm, Probably from a place in Seattle. What's Chupacabra? It was like in Finney Ridge. That was really good.
Oh yeah, Red Cross, right across from Red Mill.
Yeah, and you know what? I really never had a bad burrito. I love burritos from Chipotle, but they're so filling. And I don't know anybody else who likes Chipotle, so I don't. Nobody ever wants to go there. But
Yeah,
I really like it a lot. Even with that scare about their romaine lettuce, I was like, when is this going to be over so we can go eat it?
yeah. Chipotle is like Jean Claude Van Damme movies. Nobody likes it, but everybody likes it.
Yeah, somebody's going to his movies. Yeah,
Exactly.
Chipotle's making the money. Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the president, to go back to what you said about the president not making sense, no, I just don't. I mean, I live in a town now where people actually, they have hats, Trump hats, and shirts and bumper stickers, and I'm not used to that. I'm just not used to people seeing him speak and the things that he does and not thinking that that's crazy or, not very nice. He's just not very nice and he doesn't sound very smart. And I just don't, his orange skin, and you can tell that he, self tans or whatever he's doing to him. So if I just don't understand how anybody could look at that and think, oh, he's got the answers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe people thought that about Obama but I just think when he spoke, it was eloquent and lovely, and he seemed smart. I don't know.
I know. For me, it was always, Bush the first. That was my guy. Yeah. Well, not Bush the first. It was Dana Carvey doing the first Bush. That was my guy.
What do you mean? You liked him or you didn't like him?
Dana Carvey doing George Bush. That's my president.
Oh, yeah, yes, with the teats. Did you ever watch that documentary about the Dana Carvey show and how that all
Yeah.
basically came and it collapsed? What a good documentary! That was so funny.
Oh, absolutely. How basically Dana ruined his career just by doing a bad format.
Yeah,
You know.
you can. It's a shame in life if you get older, you realize that you really only learn things through mistakes.
Yeah. Like, guess how many thumbs I have right now?
Two.
3.
Yuck, why?
Well, let's just say, going back to your point, that guy in the poker game learned from his mistake. So,
You stole somebody's thumb?
well, I didn't
Chop.
steal it. He definitely lost it, and I won it. And, at the time, it's a power move, but like 6 years down the road, you're sitting here with a thumb, and you look at it, and you're like, what's the point? I just got this thumb sitting here.
Gross.
You know, really, it's like, I should have asked for more money instead of his thumb. You know,
Definitely, definitely.
maybe,
Money's the best.
maybe an extra $6. You know,
Thumb $6. Thumb $6.
the weird thing is we weren't betting money. We were betting like pretzels and peanut, trail mix Gardettos, and it just
Gardettos.
escalated. Just so now 6 years later, got this thumb. What am I gonna do? I can't really take it out. I can't show people because it's gross and it's all shriveled and black. But it's like it's a thumb.
Do you keep it in the freezer next to your Swanson's meatloaf?
No, no, no. I got a little like when people have autographed baseball, they get like a little plastic cube that you can see through.
Those are called display cases, I think.
I don't know. I'll have to Google it, but
You don't believe me? That is what it is. But you Google it.
yeah, I'll Google it so much. But so I got this little glass cube, yeah, and I had it engraved too. That it says John Janssen's thumb. It's what happens when you play a high stakes poker game in Swedentown in Seattle, and yeah, it's just like why did I take it? You just need to limit yourself sometimes. You know, I need to be more forward
John
thinking.
Janssen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Seth, what's your favorite Gardetto?
Um, like flavor or specific thing. Because I
Like
like,
the pieces.
yeah, I like those little puffy like chunks, like the slices of breadsticks. The
The rye bread, yeah, that's my favorite too.
Yeah, I mean garlic chips, they're good, but they're overrated. Garlic chips they're good with other things, but just on its own, I can't do.
Seth, do you have any animals there with you?
Real or like, I have no live animals. I do have a teddy bear right here, and
Cute.
yeah, I just showed it on the stream. And the reason I have the teddy bear is so I don't fidget around with like other stuff like a pen or a bracelet. So
That's smart. That's why I smoke a jewel.
yeah, it's also thank God it's fake. Otherwise, I would have been so me too'd.
Me too.
Yeah.
You're doing bad things with that bear.
Well, it's not. It's like if it's a teddy bear, it's nothing like sexual. It's just it's just grabbing, squeezing. It's like a stress ball.
Mm, I see, I see.
So let's talk about comedy. Why not? Um,
I love it.
Me too. All right, we talked about comedy. So let's take you back
Yeah,
to
sorry.
your Chicago days. This is the early to mid 2000s, and you worked the door at Upright Citizens Brigade. Am I correct? Or Second City?
I worked the door at Improv Olympic, and I waited tables at Second City.
Ah, perfect. And so at Improv Olympic, who are the big names there that went on to greater things?
Um, let's see. Do. There was, well, TJ Jagodowski. He's in those Sonic commercials now with where it's two dudes.
Oh yeah.
So he was pretty big. He had a late night. Well, he was on a bunch of shows. Dave Pasquazi was there, but I think he was already doing stuff. I'm trying to think. There was a guy that I've seen in TV shows. He's on that new show on HBO called The Fabulous Gemstones, I think they're called. But I can't really think. There was more bigger people at Second City, but the people that were at Improv Olympic, I haven't seen anybody super big. Well, I don't even think Kumail Nanjiani was. T.J. Miller, but they were more Second City
Yeah.
and comedy, in general. But Improv Olympic, I've seen people that I did stuff with in commercials and movies and TV shows, but nobody like with name recognition. That was more for Second City.
Yeah, no Tim Meadows.
Yeah, he was already famous by then.
Yeah, and he still is. He is the most famous person I could think of from Second City. Of all time.
What about, of all time. What about Key and Peele? They were there when I was there. They were on stage while I was waiting tables.
Yeah. Who won?
Keegan-Michael Key. Who won what?
Key or Peele.
I think they both were winners.
Yeah, but we got to pick one.
Well, I think Keegan-Michael Key is a better live performer, but I think that Jordan Peele is funny, just hilarious. He does great impressions. He was at like Boom Chicago, where they send like improv people and sketch people to Amsterdam, and then they come back to the United States and sort of put on a little show for it must have been like a couple weeks or a month. And so he came back, and he was just so fantastic. They were great.
All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So in Chicago, my sister lives in Oak Park. Where did you live in Chicago?
Okay. I lived in a bunch of different places, but Boys Town, which was like the gay part of Chicago, off of Clark Street. I lived there primarily just so that I could walk everywhere and do everything. And God, that was such a fun town.
Oh, I bet.
So much fun.
I remember I went there. And
that's pretty much where I lived.
Yeah. Man, I remember I accidentally went to Boys Town. Oh, boy, was my face ejaculated on.
That was a rough night for you.
No, it was actually pretty nice.
What? Oh, you enjoyed it.
Well, I had a kebab
It's
before,
pretty
so
gay down there.
yeah, the kebab was really good, and then it's one of those things that's what I don't like about Boys Town. It was so expensive. Like kebabs, $14. I only had 12 cash.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
God, that seems ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's like, that's the worst thing about gentrification. Like, I love Long Beach because it's holding off gentrification. I could still get a burrito for $6. It's just such a great place. I got a Subway across the street, and I don't know if that's gentrified or not, but yeah, it's...
Maybe a little bit.
Where am I going with this story?
Seth, I don't know, but the Subway thing reminded me of... Do you know who Tom Segura is, the stand-up comic?
Yes.
He has this really funny story about how he was on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and he was talking about how he was he almost was more famous. He almost had made it into being famous years and years ago when he got hired to be the brother of Jared, the
Yeah.
subway guy that got in trouble for having tons of porn. And he talks about how he was hired as his sort of like schlubbier, chubbier, older, brother that was going to sell the unhealthy subs on these national commercials. And it's just a great story, him talking about that and how it actually didn't happen. He's glad it didn't happen because then, we find out about him.
Yeah. Yeah, let me ask you this. What was your immediate reaction to Jared being caught as a pedophile?
Oh, I didn't. It didn't strike me as odd because I think that for me, he always came off as a little weird. Just a little
Yeah, a little off.
bland and odd. Yeah, just a little odd, and he didn't have really any spark to him. I didn't understand. I mean, I've never been really a fan of Subway. I don't really like it. It's just kind of like cold sandwiches. Okay, it's no Jimmy John's but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't like him. What did you ever visit in Chicago Potbelly's?
Of course. Although,
Oh my gosh, so delicious.
although I prefer Portillo's to Potbelly's.
I mean, Portillo's is great. Yes.
There's one in Anaheim, so if you're ever down
Oh,
here,
nice. Isn't Anaheim? Is that where Disneyland is?
correct. They
Yeah.
so
My mother used to live there.
yeah, it's I know.
Not at Disneyland, but
Oh, really? It's like she would be one of those like that movie The Terminal with Tom Hanks.
I actually never saw that movie, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was funny because so many people from that movie because of Tom Hanks got coronavirus.
That's not true. Oh,
What?
that's so funny. I just got what you're saying. There,
Yeah,
you know who Bill Burr is, right?
of course. I got a funny Bill Burr story to tell you after your point.
Okay, he was talking on Conan O'Brien. He was saying, or maybe it was a stand-up special, but he was talking about how come everyone with Ebola has this urgent need to go to the airport. It's just so true. It's like, the fuck are you doing? Oh, sorry for cussing.
No, you can. I can't, but
Okay.
you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me your Bill Burr story.
So one of my first times at the Improv in LA, I was in the lab off to the side, and I saw there was a show going on as well. I saw in the back Bill Burr was there. I was like, oh, I'm a big fan. I've never met him, so I'll go say hi. So I walk up to him, and remember, there's a show going on. And I lean in and I shake his hand and I whisper, hi, I'm Seth. I'm a fan of your work. And he just says out loud, ah, so you're a close talker.
Oh, I never really thought of you as a close talker, but maybe you are.
Well, there was a show going on. So,
Oh, that's so funny.
yeah.
Okay. So you had to lean in.
Yeah.
Cute. I smoked weed outside of the Improv with Anthony Jeselnik when I lived there. Damn it.
Oh, cool. Trying to think.
That's a fun story.
Yeah, tell it. Oh, you just did.
Oh, that's the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just was. You know how many times in my life someone said to me after I tell a story, is that it? And I'm starting to think that maybe I'm bad at telling stories, or there should be more. I just don't feel like going into this long story of I'm standing outside the Improv. There's a handsome guy standing there. He starts to smoke weed. I ask if I can have some. He gives it to me. And get this, it's Anthony Jeselnik.
Wow.
Is that better?
Yes. I got a story like
Did
that.
you see Bill? Yeah,
It's your story, actually. So, now,
Ooh, tell it to me.
all right. So I'm at the Improv, and I really want to smoke weed. So I step outside, I look around, and I see Anthony Jeselnik. And guess what he's doing? He's smoking weed. So I walk up to him and I say, "Hey, Dr. Anthony Jeselnik, may I partake in some of your weed?" He looks at me, up and down, says, "Give me a little turn." So I turn and turn back. He says, "Yeah, you can smoke weed with me."
That's such a better story than what I told. You're so good.
I try.
So good at Seth. Dr. Anthony Jeselnik.
Exactly. He's got a PhD in art history. I don't know.
Seth, I have this puppy with me, and Nick, my boyfriend, he decides to get 2 puppies right before we move across the country.
Wow.
Which is what you should do when you are going to move across the country. So we have to pile in these cars. It's 3 dogs and 2 cats and 2 humans. And we drive cross country. Seth, we didn't even get out of Missouri when one of the cars died.
Ooh.
So we had to, we were stuck in a snowstorm. We were in separate cars. This was Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve. And I'd never driven through a snowstorm before. Where are you from originally?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. So you're used to the snow, right? Do they have snow there?
Yes, they have snow in Wisconsin.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in Seattle, we don't have snow. We don't, maybe 1 day, 2 days a year. So I'd never driven in a storm. And the snowflakes are getting larger and larger. And I have to pull off to this exit, and Nick's in a separate car, right? So my phone's not working. I borrowed this lady's landline to call him, and he says that he's in the next exit, so I had to, in this scary, dark, it was called Lookout Pass. Look out! And so I had to get back on the highway at my most scared I've ever been in my life. And I had the 2 cats with me in the car. And I had to get back on the highway. I make it to the next exit. I get there, and I find out his truck had died. And so we had to leave that truck and one of our trailers in the Silver Dollar motel parking lot on Christmas Eve. Said it took us 3 weeks to get from Seattle, Washington to Tennessee.
Wow. How long were you planning to drive?
How long what?
How long were you originally planning to drive?
Maybe 3 days, 4 days.
Oh, so that is a sad story. But you made it.
Yeah.
And
We made it.
have you been to Dollywood yet?
No, but I love Dolly Parton, and I actually just watched 9 to 5 yesterday. And my Nick's mom, she grew up here in the South, so did he. But that was one of the things I wanted to do, and she just bought tickets. So once all this COVID-19 stuff hopefully gets better and we can go to Dollywood, I can't wait. I'm very excited.
What else is there? Don't they have a Bible land or an Israel land?
I don't know. It sounds familiar. I actually, since I moved here, since I got here January 10th, I have not done anything.
Yeah.
Because I've just been, we moved, and I was really concerned about getting a job. I haven't even had a drink of any sort of alcohol since I moved here.
Wow.
Which is pretty sad. But it's because I don't have time.
Yeah.
Sinny.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I heard the Israel land, it used to be called Palestine land, but then they, built over it. Anyway, there was a Tennessee resolution. They built over it, and There's still some parts of Palestine land there, but Israel land has little, attractions on the Palestine land without their
Mm-hmm.
permission, and it's a complicated situation in Tennessee.
I have to look into that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do in Tennessee. You got Knoxville.
Yeah, Knoxville is about. Well, I live in Road Mountain, which is the highest point in the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah,
And then Knoxville's. I'm basically 45 minutes away from anything.
yeah. You said Road Mountain, right?
But it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Road Mountain, Tennessee.
Problem is, you're gonna have to pick a side when
And
shit
I
goes
think
down between roads and mountains.
I pick mountains.
All right, I'm just saying, how you gonna, mountains are nice, but how you gonna get there when roads revolt?
Oh no, I'm so scared. Is that really gonna happen?
Yeah, scheduled for August
I
16th.
hope not. Oh my gosh, it's right around my birthday.
Yeah. Okay, final question.
Seth, when it.
Oh,
Okay.
well, you were gonna ask when my birthday was, or is,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
will be? February 10th.
February 10th, that's right.
Yep, it's the greatest day of the year. The funny thing is, so February 3rd is my anniversary. February 10th is my birthday. February 14th, Valentine's Day. February 22nd, my lady's birthday. So basically,
Wow.
I told her every year for my birthday, just let me watch the Super Bowl. I'm good. And that's how, February is nuts. Not to mention Groundhog's Day.
Oh yeah. Do you want to hear a funny story about Groundhog's Day?
100% yes.
Okay, so I'm working at this new job at a pizza shop. It's called Johnny Brusco's. And, sorry. So my boyfriend Nick, he had warned me that some people down here don't really have a great sense of humor. Sometimes they think that you're making fun of them. Well, that's one of my favorite things to do is make fun of people.
Yeah.
So I was checking this guy out, like, money-wise, for a pizza, slices or what have you. And I asked him what his name was, and he said Phil. And I said, like the groundhog? And he doesn't laugh, then he just looks at me and he goes, you calling me a groundhog? And I was like, no, like the movie. And he didn't understand what I was saying, so now I've stopped making fun of people.
Yeah. Like,
For a week.
like how you got fired from Starbucks, right? Didn't you make fun of a lady?
Well, yes, I did get fired from Starbucks. It was for somebody left a piece of trash on the counter, and I went, really? And she went and told on me.
Oh, wow.
And instead of apologizing, I was like, no, she left a piece of trash there. I'm right.
Yeah.
And they fired me.
Well, at least you
I
got...
learned a lesson there, Seth.
Yeah. If you want your beanstalk, don't criticize the customers. So...
Yes.
So wrapping up this thing, your birthday, August 3rd. No, April 3rd. When is your birthday? August 3rd?
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
Very close. You were a day away.
All right. I think that's also my cousin's birthday. I'll have to text her. What was the best birthday present you've ever gotten in your life?
Best birthday present I've ever gotten in my life.
And this includes things that, like, your boyfriend has gotten. Really, he wears it, but it's really for you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. A lingerie.
Yeah.
I would say the best thing that I ever got for my birthday was a surprise party.
Oh.
When I was in Seattle years ago, they really surprised me because I did not know that they were doing it, like everybody parked, way far away from the street, and Schwinky brought me to this house and was like, hey, we're just going to say hello for a second. I opened the door and it was like, surprise! And that was just so fun.
Yeah. Good thing you weren't armed.
Yeah, I could have hurt a lot of people. No, I'm not a violent person.
Not yet. But Tennessee's going to change you.
It's true.
Yeah. Because if there's one thing Tennessee has, it's armed people. And I don't know. I lost myself on this one. Bail me out.
Oh, yes, there is a. People have shotguns and guns, and there's gun shops, and a lot of people are stocking up on ammo here. You
Yeah.
know, for the big war that's going to come. People get scared, so they just do whatever they think they need to do, which is like buy toilet paper and buy all the canned goods and
Yep.
stock up on ammo, which I don't get it, but
I know. All I got is a bunch of lube. And but the problem is I'm going to donate it to the hospitals because there's I learned that there's also medical functions for lube.
oh yeah, is there? I would think so.
I assume, but
That's so good of you.
yeah, I mean, you get one of those, 3 5-gallon buckets of lube. I figure, donate one, and I still have 1.5 left.
Seth, this just conjures up such gross imagery to, you know, ugh, just you slathered in a bunch of lube. Yuck.
What can I say? I'm a luber. All right. Well, Faye, I'm gonna stop the podcast right there. I'm sure we're gonna BS well after this. So, thanks for watching Hunkered Down with Seth. Any last words?
No, just everybody be safe and keep your spirits high and, call a friend.
Perfect.